obviously, is that the Central Bank of Nigeria has kept interest rates on hold at 6%. Was this in line with expectations?
Oh, of course, because CBN has injected a lot of bailout funds into the banking system, to aid troubled banks, and we expect inflation to remain on the upside, hovering at about 11%. So there won't be any need for the CBN to reduce the MPR below 6%. So it is expected that they would leave it at 6%. So nothing really. We have not seen the full MPC decision today, but we had expected that the MPC will be kept at 6%.
Are Nigerian banks starting to relax their credit at this stage, given the fact that obviously we saw those tightening up when we saw the recapitalization of the Nigerian banks in August through to October, some $4 billion being put into the banking system?
Yeah, because of the recent banking reform, we have seen a lot of provision for loan losses, and of course the toxic assets has really increased. A lot of people have estimated that the toxic assets will be well over 1 trillion. So of course CBN is putting the figure at about 1 trillion, but some other analysts, Merrill Lynch, are estimating that the toxic asset will be about 9 trillion. Now, when you have such toxic assets and you have shareholders' funds of banks, negative, we expect that the major duty of the banks, which is lending, would have to slow down, and our government have to now embark on a moral suasion. And right now, the FG is thinking of meeting with the banks to even advance credit to the petroleum importers, so that they can, the current fuel scarcity in the country is going to be reduced. But we expect that credit should be directed towards the real sector of the economy, because that's the only way by which the economy is going to grow. We're expecting that the GDP will grow by at least 5% in 2010, but that is not going to be achievable if credits are not advanced towards agriculture and the other manufacturing concerns in the economy. So right now, because CBN has injected funds into the bank, they should have liquidity to boost their lending activities.
Ayodele, can I just ask you, can we just go back to the inflation debate? We've seen inflation move up in a number of African countries, certainly in the last 6 months, and there has to be some concern around inflation within Nigeria. Is there a risk that inflation starts to move noticeably higher than where it is at the moment?
Well, because the inflation in Nigeria, the core inflation is the component is actually food. In the situation whereby the cost of importing food or the cost of producing food becomes high, then inflation would have to we will have to experience inflation. We've seen inflation increasing to more than 11.2%. That is expected. When you have too much money in circulation, we've seen interbank dropping. That means we are beginning to see liquidity in the system. And I don't think CBN has been able to adequately curb the monies in circulation. The monies in circulation is quite high, and so inflation would still remain within the double-digit region. We would continue to see this, and right now that we are seeing forecasting in the economy, there are uncertainties about the outcome of the deregulation, and a whole lot of issues in the economy. Of course, we've seen unemployment on the rise, with more than 4,000 bankers, being sacked.
Ayodele,
so all these are gloomy, and inflation should still remain within the double digits region.